Hi Scorpio, this is your forecast for the month of March 2019. This is a general reading for Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Rising, or Scorpio Moon. For a more rounded overview, please watch your rising and moon sign as well. So Scorpio, we're starting the first week off with a major card that is very representative of you, the Death card. So you may be undergoing some kind of major life change or dealing with an agent of change in your life. And so there's some kind of transformation taking place this week. Maybe you're concluding some unfinished business, maybe you're renewing something, you may be transforming a situation. But it could be that you want to leave the past behind in some way. You want to free yourself. You may be purging, releasing, cutting something off. In fact, for some of you, surgery may be an issue this week. But you want to liberate yourself, and something is going to happen this week that brings about some inevitable change. And either you are grieving the loss of something or you feel revitalized. So there is an inevitable ending in some area or aspect of your life in order to make way to renew or open up possibilities in another area. There could be a change of status for you. Your social status. Maybe you're getting married, or you're getting a divorce, or you're starting or leaving a job, or changing your residence, or relocating. Something that would have a profound impact on your situation. So you are shedding something that no longer serves you. It's outmoded. It could even be an attitude. Whatever it is, you are regenerating into a new form. You're trying to manifest something by using your personal power and focusing your will intently on achieving a goal. And for some of you, you may be faced with either an opportunity or a challenge. And all of the aspects of Scorpio and the Death card and Pluto are kicking in. Your will to survive, to reinvent yourself, to rise from the ashes. And you're not going to want to be in a situation where things are not clear. You want to be free. You want to grow. You don't want to be stagnant or hemmed in or confined or uncertain. Because this is a week where you're very focused on security and trying to manifest something. And you're willing to do whatever it takes. You're drawing on your all because you're very motivated. So in some situations, you're simply making some changes to reorient yourself. Maybe a relationship changes in some way. You may have had a certain type of relationship and now that's shifting. Maybe you've decided you don't want to be as close to a person as you once were. You want to put them at arm's length, or maybe you want to grow closer to somebody. So you could sacrifice an aspect of a circumstance or resume something this week, and possibly something connected to a long time ago. This week may hold some intensity, some crisis situation, something very stressful. It may tie to assets or property or resources that are jointly held with others. It could be issues of sexuality and intimacy and having the courage to deeply tackle a situation. You may be bringing about some kind of emotional or psychological change or breakthrough within yourself. In fact, you may have connections to people who deal with psychological issues. And this is a week of changes, and so you're going to have to be flexible in order to greet those changes. You're going to have to accommodate the unpredictable. And for some of you, there may be a temptation to look back on the past and what went wrong and the unpleasantries and allow that to inform your present situation, to keep you stuck in a certain spot and make an excuse either, for yourself or something that keeps you in conflict with other people or closes off opportunity. It could be that you have become too self-reliant or too self-contained. You've closed off to the point of inertia. You're being bullheaded about something. And because of it, you end up stagnating. Maybe there's a fear of change, or you are refusing to move forward. And so what doesn't grow eventually may decay. Maybe you're depressed about your situation, or you're not going to even give the future an opportunity. So you could be hanging in limbo this week, and you may have to give up something you wouldn't normally give up voluntarily. This may be a week where it's difficult for you to bend. Maybe there's some source of conflict. And rather than discuss it and try to work out the details, compromise, reconcile, you'd rather just turn away. You'd rather block that change. And you may not even be interested in having a conversation. But if you stay in denial or resistant to making some necessary changes that could improve your circumstances, you may stay stuck in limbo. So this is a week of changing who you are. You may be changing how you look, how you relate, what you do, where you are, but you are self-regenerating, whether materially, emotionally, physically, or psychologically. And this is a week where your grit allows you to reach the top or find a better path or a different way if you're willing to step out of perhaps a leaded type of consciousness. And this is about you personally, your outlook, your coping skills, your strengths, how you greet the world. Now, the second week is also a major week. You have the Hanged Man, and so things may be hanging in limbo. It could be that you're waiting to make some important changes, or you change your mind about something, letting something go, holding on to it, transforming it. There's a shift in perspective about something, and you're having to look at the players in the game. Who's playing a victim, the martyr? Who may be selfish? Is it you? Is it others? Are you making changes because you want to make those changes, or you're making them because you think you should fulfill the vision of who someone else wants you to be? Maybe you are defining yourself in terms of others. For some of you, you may be waiting to end something or begin it, and there's a lack of commitment. You really don't know which way you're going to swing. Now, because death can be tied to sexuality, perhaps there are decisions that relate to sexual orientation. Maybe you're experimenting. Maybe you're shifting your tastes or pushing the boundaries in some way. So you may be changing your mind. Whatever it is, this is a week of slowed action. You may be taking your time. And again, some of you are facing some kind of trial, a lesson, a testing period, or going deep within to tap into your consciousness. So this could be a very spiritual week of some form of enlightenment, where you attune to the deeper, darker forces of your existence. You may be called upon to make some sacrifice or offer some compassion due to circumstances. Maybe you are meditating, maybe you are withdrawing, maybe you are, dealing with something that is very life-threatening or serious. You could be a hospital patient or dealing with someone. There could be issues of life and death involved in your circumstances. And you may decide to make a sacrifice for the higher good. So it could be something voluntary, some readjustment that you're making. But it could also be you've changed your mind about something. You want greater freedom and you want to break from the past. And this could be a crossroad week for you, where something unexpected, remember, the agent of change may have arrived, something unexpected either in your domestic affairs or your career that pushes you to the point where you have to surrender. Maybe you have to give in to the opposing point of view, or you have to let go of your own personal will about a situation. If you can remain objective and step back and not get caught up, you'll do better. This is a week to maintain your composure, because a new perspective is going to help you. It's going to allow you to work through the issues of the past and make peace with it, so that you can make sense of what has happened prior to now and reevaluate your goals to move toward the future. But it's a week where you're going to have to really put the pedal to the metal and persevere toward your goal, and be patient about waiting for those results. The wait for you could be agonizing this week. Fortunately, a new perspective allows you to make more realistic decisions. You're digging deeper because there's a goal in mind. And maintaining that composure, having a sense of peace and serenity will allow you to move through these stressful, crisis-oriented situations where there are setbacks or delays. And also when you're dealing with people who have a tendency to manipulate, make you feel guilty about who you are or what you're doing. You could have a breakthrough moment this week where you get some sudden inspiration or some insight. Something you're involved in may take off. Or you could be getting some unexpected news or a visitor. So you'll have to, squelch any restlessness or impulsiveness this week. You're not meant to move quickly. You're meant to take your time so that you can evaluate your situation. Again, you may be making a sacrifice in order to achieve a goal that's worthy, but you could also be making some self-sacrifices that accomplish nothing and prove nothing of value. Especially if you're doubting yourself, resistant to change, you may follow the path of least resistance. You may do what's easiest for you rather than what's best. And this is a week of intensity. You may be putting back that frustration about a situation and then it comes out somewhere else. Maybe you're angry at one person and you can't really say what you want to or need to that person, and you take it out on the person that's available even though they may have nothing to do with it and they don't deserve it. This is a week where you're going to have to take the rose-colored glasses off and deal with reality. Wherever you're not addressing something or dealing with it or overlooking something, it's going to come back to you in another area of your life for you to deal with. And you really have to dig deep to get motivated to move in a new direction, because this is a week where things may not be clear. There's a Neptunian influence where you may be lulled back into old habits, self-limiting attitudes, self-sabotage, self-defeat. And so, trying to see things clearly is going to be important. You have to make sure in the area of sacrifice that if it's needed, you give in. If you're doing something and not getting anything out of it because of fear or the wrong reason, you're excessively conforming again to the wishes of others and not really claiming your truest self, it's going to be difficult for you to move forward. Now, the third week, you have fire energy. This is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, or just the traits of this queen. And this is a queen who uses her leadership ability. She's got fierce determination, and that may be called for to overcome a very intense situation. Or again, maybe this is something sexual. This is a queen who's passionate. She's ardent in love. And, she's very warm. She's comfortable with who she is, her sexuality, and she's got strong magnetic powers of attraction. And she's not afraid to go there. So for some of you, you may have intense interactions with others where people are waiting for attention, waiting for change, pushing the envelope in some way. And for some of you, this may have to do with waiting for a large sum of money. This queen loves money. She loves challenge. She loves competition. And she's got a lot of connections. She's well connected. So this may be you or somebody who is involved in a lot in the community. Maybe you have a lot of projects in the work. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, very career oriented, and you know how to market and push your talents, your skills, and your assets. Or you're connecting with somebody who may be a benefactor, a protector, somebody who is a mover and shaker, somebody who can influence. This is a week where you're going to want to wield your influence. You're trying to get something to change, to reverse perhaps, to go your way, in your favor. There's a strong desire to be recognized, to be noticed, to be appreciated. And this is a good week for you to pull those people in that can help you. You're going to find yourself connecting with people whose goals, whose interests, whose personalities match your desire for change, for excitement, for enthusiasm, for adventure. On the other hand, though, you may be changing your mind and ending or releasing something because you or someone else may be pushing a little bit too hard. This is a queen who knows how to look out for herself, and sometimes to the extreme. She is all about number one, and she may be jealous or vindictive or frustrated. She may feel that she's not getting what she deserves because she may have overinflated her importance. She's always charming, but she can be a dangerous schemer. And so for some of you, there may be issues of deceit or infidelity, or somebody's being ruthless or unyielding or temperamental. So this could be a week where you're dealing with divas. Either you're behaving that way or you're coming in contact with it. It could be that, if this is about sexual orientation, this is a queen who can easily get tired of male dominance. Somebody may decide, hey, you know what, I'm tired of men. And I find that I'm more attracted to feminine energy or whatever. So some of you are going to find that maybe you are creating negative impact by trying too hard to push your agenda. In fact, you begin to make a nuisance of yourself and maybe undermine the very thing that you're trying to make happen, or you're dealing with someone like that. So for some of you, though, this is going to be a lucky week of serendipities. You're focused on promoting your hopes and dreams, and whatever you're doing and whatever connections you make may help you exceed your original expectation. It could be an unexpected gift or opportunity that arrives for you. Or you're recognizing where you need to get more motivated. You need to take some kind of action. Now, the last card is the Fool card. So this is a major card. And in fact, you have 4 majors. That's an exclamation point. This is a very spiritual and emotionally significant month for you, with a lot, that may be karmic, spiritual, and out of your hands. There's a fated quality to this month. For some of you, this Fool is going to represent someone young. A child, something youthful. For others of you, this is going to represent perhaps travel. For some, this is about, following that dream. Maybe you're starting fresh with something. You've made some major changes, and now you're in new territory where maybe you don't quite have the experience, or this is something novel for you. Some of you, you're starting a literal journey. You may be traveling. But whatever you're doing, there's something fresh about it. Perhaps you're leaping into the unknown. It's a new chance, a new opportunity, and you're having to make an important decision. It may be you come up with a surprising solution with regard to something. But the Fool, when he appears, says that it's time for change, and you need to be open-minded and optimistic. Again, it could be that you are seeking greater freedom. There's a new phase of life that you're entering into. You're making some important changes to steer matters your way. And perhaps you're taking a risk and hoping that it's all going to work out. So you're about to embark on a new chapter in your life. And you stand to gain by having some foresight, some vision. You have to be able to dream, to envision, to have faith, but also use your common sense. So practicing cautious expansion is important. This is a week where you're willing to take on more, do more, go bigger, go harder to achieve success and happiness. So you may take the first steps in setting off on a journey. Maybe you start a new job, you move, you make some changes, you start something, you end something, some studies, a relationship, a diet, a health plan, a way of being, because you have renewed self-confidence about your future. And again, you may be traveling or meeting new people as part of that experience. This is a great week to connect to others, put your plans in motion, introduce yourself. If you know somebody that can do something for you, this is the week to make that connection. Renew acquaintances, especially people who have the power and influence to open some doors for you. But for some of you, you're being naive about a situation, maybe because of fear or poor judgment, or again, that inexperience. You may be gullible to something, and it may create some unexpected problems for you. Perhaps you haven't followed through on something. There's been some irresponsibility, or you've been so intense that there's a lack of perspective. You've been obsessed with something. The risks you take are really playing with fire. So for some of you, you may be playing the fool. You may be fooling yourself again by going out of your way to get the attention and try to impress somebody or save the wrong person or circumstance, when that hangman says, ultimately, you're not going to get anything out of it. This is also a week to be careful of being reckless, impatient, and over-optimistic. You're going to have to make the call on the mark using your common sense. And again, because this queen is so self-oriented, the fool says somebody may just lose sight, lose touch of what's happening around them. You know, they're like, la, 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 because they're so caught up in their own personal gain or their own achievement and advancement that they're not even stopping to think about what's going on with the other person, how it's impacting them, how they may feel, what they may need out of the circumstances. Now, the underlying energy is this Chariot card. So for some of you, there's a tie to a Cancer person. But for others of you, this is a focus again, a single-minded focus on achievement, on some kind of goal or objective. You may need to make peace with yourself during this period. Perhaps you are conflicted with others, or you're conflicted with yourself. Again, you're dealing with intense situations that may carry the light and dark of a situation, the shadow part of yourself or other people. And so you may be working to overcome or reconcile some differences. For some of you, there's a strong tie to travel, to communication, or some kind of victory that you're trying to seek. You're trying to make some progress through perhaps balancing opposing forces, you against others or you against yourself. And it's important that you get clear about what your purpose is, that you take the initiative, you stay determined, and assert yourself. But assert yourself in a positive way, because this is a month of self-mastery. Having dominance over the lesser, baser parts of yourself in order to achieve some kind of triumphant progress. So your attitude, your way of being, your thinking, your moods, the way you relate, your views are creating the environment around you and being reflected back. So you may be more powerful or more impactful than you realize. And this is a month to understand your role throughout the month. In some cases, it says take the initiative, be a leader, step up to the plate if you have the strength to do so, and take the reins. In other situations, perhaps you are inexperienced. You don't know, the ropes, and in which case you need to allow the other person to make the decision. This is a month of working with others. Again, issues related to travel, communication that causes you to make some important changes to your schedule, personally, professionally, financially. This is a month of coming up with strategy. Now, on a mundane level, you have some travel cards here. So you need to be careful about moving too quickly, literally, perhaps being reckless the way you drive. This is a month where you're very prone to getting some kind of ticket, or you could be in an accident. But your emotions are running high. You may find that you're getting angry, and you're going to have to control those emotions, curb those impulses, and allow your intuition to guide you toward the correct path that will keep things moving along the way you want to. So this is a month about being a leader in the best possible way, looking to do things in an efficient manner. When that chariot rounds the corner, he has to go just so that he doesn't turn over the cart. So this is about, rounding the corner as close to the curve as you can. Any changes that you have to make, any alterations, this delay that the hanged man may cause, the lull, could be that this is an opportunity. It's not going to cost you what you think. For some of you, there's healing in focus. Could be physical, could be emotional, could be spiritual. You want to align how you feel inside with your outer environment. For some of you, that's going to mean not being so focused and taking a time out, or taking a time out to focus on something, taking care of yourself, loving yourself. Again, this is a month where relocation, travel, communication, due to some kind of circumstance that's out of the ordinary, romance, seeking adventure, broadening your horizons. And it's a month where you're really going to have to concentrate your effort to make some gains. So your patience is sure to be challenged and tested. You may be meeting up with some delays. There could be some miscommunication. Maybe something is going on with your car, your equipment, some kind of breakdown, or something medical that you have to address. This is also about being so focused that you again lose touch with a situation. You may believe that a particular person is the savior, the answer, the key to making you happy, giving you the answer, giving your life meaning, or some pursuit is going to do it for you. This is what it takes for you to be happy. But what it means is that there's some misplaced power or confidence in a situation, and you need to re-look at something, re-evaluate. It could be that there are some circumstances beyond your control because you made a miscalculation in some way. Things are not going to move as smoothly or as quickly as you want them to. So some kind of new phase that you're entering requires that you look at your relationships again with a different perspective, something that can open you up to possibility and broaden your horizons if you're paying attention. There's a strong drive for success here and looking out for your interests, but you're going to have to have control of your emotions. This could be a month in the negative where you're out of control, you're reckless, you feel overwhelmed, you're misdirecting your energy. And, maybe things are moving too fast or too slowly, your focus may be too narrow, there's a restlessness, you feel pressured, and it comes out as a conflict or resentment where somebody's trying to use unnecessary force, or they're being domineering, or they're smothering. Could be delays, cancellations, problems that you have to deal with. So this is a month to focus on overcoming a challenge or an obstacle. And again, it's a very spiritual month with all of these cards. Now, this may tie to, repairing or clarifying some aspect of work, health, your domestic affairs, and your partnerships, your investments and collaborations with others. And ultimately, it's about your security, your stability, and where you stand with regard to others and your circumstances. But there's very little stability to be had in this reading. Something is not on solid footing as of yet. Now, that may be because you're working the details out. This is a very passive and emotional month where still there's this desire to keep things moving forward underneath the surface. Things may not be moving just yet, but there's still some hope. Also, there's still some logic in a situation that could easily spin out of control. Perhaps, a conflict where there are no clear winners. And it may require some motivational speaking, a pep talk, pushing someone along. Now, let's take a look at your money card. You have speculation. Risky ventures may not yield the return you anticipated. Make sure you're in a position to take a calculated risk. So again, with that Fool card, you're stepping out on faith. And you may have some inexperience with regard to something. Could be something you share with somebody, some kind of investment, some intense change you want to make. And you're going to have to do your research and use your common sense. And it's being driven by rainy day. Develop a savings plan to start building a nest egg or prepare for the proverbial rainy day. You may be focused on a goal that requires a substantial investment. So you're moving in a new direction that carries some kind of risk. Know if you're in a position to lose and how much you're capable of withstanding. Now let's take a glimpse at your relationship card. You have discord. So again, this theme of having some kind of conflict or dealing with discord. It could be some arguments, some disagreements, some win at all costs behavior. You may, be trying to work some issues and going round and round. You have this trust card. You need to trust what you're feeling, trust your emotions. You could be arguing surrounding issues of trust. You're going to have to use your intuition about how to overcome this discord or upheaval that you're facing. And the advice card is past life relationship. You've known each other before. So there could be some arguments related to, your past, someone else, in your past, some kind of past behavior, indiscretion. It could be old habits, a way of being that you need to release. You're going to have to trust, again, your feelings, your intuition in order to overcome some type of challenge.